At one point, the Saudi League looked unstoppable. Insane contracts, global stars. Ronaldo was telling people to come in. Neymar, Benzema had just won a Ballon d'Or, came in the very next year. 70% of the earth is covered by water. The rest is covered by N'Golo Kante.
Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you. They had Roberto Firmino, Jordan Henderson. It was an infinite money glitch. And even in the lower leagues, they were convincing players they'll pay their mortgages and for them to stay and play for their clubs. Not gonna lie, that was kind of enticing. I might have had to invest. There were so many global headlines for the last 2 years about this, how the Saudi League could have looked unstoppable. But now, some of the same players who actually took the bag, they kind of sound frustrated, and some of them have actually left. So my question is, why are Saudi players starting to turn on the league? 5 years ago, most casual football fans couldn't even name one Saudi player. Now they got Ballon d'Or winners, Champions League legends, and even contracts that broke the internet. The whole aim for the Saudi investment funds that were at the time was to buy the best players, create a product that would not only benefit them for the upcoming World Cup that is in 2030, which yes, obviously Saudi took a bid and won the bid. Editing Ryan here, it's 2034 World Cup, not 2030. My dumbass! And even trying to entice some of the brightest stars in today's game to join the league in order to bring in more competition and also boost future earnings. But here's the thing that no one is talking about. The Saudi League didn't just come out of nowhere, but honestly, the way that actually grew is the reason why players are actually turning on it today. Before the hype, for decades, the Saudi Pro League was more of a regional league. They had big fan bases, serious passions. The league focused more on domestic stars, Asian Champions League runs, and local rivals like Al Hilal versus Al Nasser. It wasn't trying to compete with Europe. It was trying to build its own identity right at home, as they decided to host a bid for the World Cup. As football became a soft power tool, especially with how the global economy is in that region and how cultures are very different in that region, international tourism and global branding became a very important marketing tactic in order to boost investments. And that's why they began to start the Public Investment Fund. It didn't just sponsor football, it actually controlled it. Clubs became state-backed projects instead of traditional football institutions. They basically became industry plans. When Ronaldo decided to sign for Al Nasser during this, it became a turning point for football and how we view football transfers today. This wasn't a football move anymore, it was a statement. Because once you have one of the best players in the world, it just opens floodgates. You have more marketing tactics, you have people wearing Al Nasser jerseys for some reason. No one outside of Saudi Arabia knew what the hell was Al Nasser was before joining them. Buy legitimacy instantly, but they did skip the middle step. They skipped infrastructure, coaching depth, youth pipelines, and competitive balance over time. Yes, the top 4 to 5 teams in the league, yes, they were building relevance and they had very good rivalries, but the rest of the teams were actually just falling. They had very big stadiums with no one in it. That's not sustainable over time. Even if they had infinite wealth, at some point burning money was not the point. It was actually to boost relevance and at least have enough money for them to build better stadiums in the future and in 2030. 2030 is not that far away, coming in 3 years, which is actually crazy. You cannot fast track all of that with just transfers alone. And this is where things start to crack. Players arrived expecting a finished product. They were pitching the idea that there was going to be more competitive balance, going to feel fulfilled regardless of the culture shock.
Haba, Anna, Steven Gerrard. Anna El Etifaki.
And they were able to actually mentor and be able to actually boost their brand as well. They were going to have elite football, elite organizations, and elite competition. But what they walked into was a league that was still in transition.
What's it? You want it? Tell me then.
Some of these players were actually patient, and that gap between expectation and reality started the root of frustration that we're currently seeing now. So when the players start questioning the intensity, the lifestyle, or the sporting project in Ronaldo's case, then it doesn't become entitlement. To be honest, in Ronaldo's case, I think the man is just being grumpy, but like he's making sense. It actually makes sense. It's a league that grew faster, but without a foundation. If you don't have a foundation under the house is going to fall down eventually. It's the same thing that happened in China, but it happened quicker in China because China didn't have infinite money. And now we don't even talk about Chinese clubs, and most of the Chinese clubs like Jiangsu Suning, they don't even exist anymore. Even Guangzhou Evergrande doesn't exist anymore. Oscar, who just currently retired, and he stayed in China for 8 years without any boost in growth. He was an up-and-coming talent in Chelsea and decided to go, obviously for money, to save his family. Also, they had pitched the idea that China was going to grow and boost in sales. You basically have to be Ronaldo level in order to get to a national team spot if you're not even from Saudi Arabia. Also, it kind of dampens the quality of the national teams, because you see the national teams today and the national teams back in 2002 and 2006, you can see a vast contrast. Ballon d'Or conversations start getting very murky. For crying out loud, Rodri won a Ballon d'Or, alright, before Neymar, just to let you know. There were unclear sporting projects and constant changes that affected how the players played and how many players were going to leave, and decisions that didn't really feel football driven, and that does cause a lot of frustration when you're just trying to play ball. What does this all mean for Saudi Arabian football? I don't think Saudi Arabian football is really dying. They're trying to go ahead of their own shadow instead of building consistently, and it might honestly backfire in 34. Until that's figured out, don't be surprised if more players start looking for a valid reason to exit. Thank you guys for watching the video. I wanted to make a new transition into my footballing life. If you're still interested in more reactionary and commentary content about internet culture, I have my second channel, The Arty Sofa Plus. And apart from that, thank you for watching, guys. Follow all my socials. It's very easy. The Arty Sofa, by the way. Post on a weekly basis. And until then, I'll see you again.